I'm Sharice Nicole with SeedNikki.com. We spoke to the very handsome men of VH1 Single Ladies who talked to us about their transition from being a boy to becoming a man.
I think before I had a daughter, I was always trying to deny the fact that I was a highly sensitive individual, right? That, things affect me deeply. What he was saying, injustices, just people going through hard times. I mean, it just affects me deeply. And I always saw it as something that was a bad thing, probably at times because sometimes there were some women that would make me feel this way, as if being a sensitive man somehow made you less of a man. But now that I have a daughter who's 4 years old, I don't give a shit what people think about my sensitivity because she loves it, and she has opened me up so much more to me being comfortable with being a man that loves being a man, but that also acknowledges and embraces his sensitivity, and that it doesn't make you less of a man to cry or to feel deeply or to love greatly, to show love. Overwhelming love. It doesn't make you less of a man. It, in fact, makes you a man.
All right. I want you to answer the question, but first I want to piggyback on what you just said. How does having a daughter affected the way that you treat women?
That has changed quite a bit. I'm not even going to lie. Because now all of a sudden I see the way as she grows and that she's looking at the world and what some of her challenges are going to be. And it's changed the way that I see women, and it's also opened me up to what some struggles are that women face, especially little black girls in our society, and the whole thing with hair and makeup and skin color. As men, I think it's something that we would always hear, of course, like women talk about. And we would, as men listen, but it's not something that we faced racism as black men in a different way, being pulled over because you're black, being arrested. I didn't really just say that. I mean, but just kind of that kind of stuff, But now being a father to a little girl, it's opened my eyes up in a very, very different way. So I think that's been great.
I do. I just like to interject real quickly that one thing that's beautiful about knowing this cat here in the past 2 years is that DB is sort of like a quiet to himself individual, but when he brings up his daughter all the time, there is a light. There is a different light that shines on him all the time, and I just want to just recognize that it really is a beautiful thing, and knowing how much this man loves his daughter and his family at the same time. It's just a really beautiful thing that even from the outside looking in, it's just it's a real honor to see that because it is beautiful.
It is an honor to see it, and it's an honor to meet a man that's like that because I didn't grow up with a dad either. A lot of women that I know didn't, so it's so remarkable to see when a man takes that responsibility so seriously and cherishes his little girl. That's a really special thing. So, bravo to you. Yeah. And shoop. So you have to answer the insecurity question for me.
Insecurities as a man goes hand in hand with being a man. Being a man is not showing your insecurities. It's kind of the wall that we're built up with since, if your dad tells you or the men at school tell you, you build up this wall of what to do to present the man, that everybody else wants you to be. I think letting go, Renaissance man, is what makes you a man. Being sensitive, being open, being able to dance, being able to sing, being able to write, draw, do everything, and have a knowledge of the world is what makes you a man. The majority of people walking around claiming to be men aren't men. They've never experienced being a friend with someone who's married, has a daughter. That's what makes you a man because I wasn't a man until maybe 30. 31. I'm still not there.
Wait, why do you think that? What was that mark? What happened?
It doesn't ever happen. It's something that when you realize you're not a man, that is the first step to you becoming a man. that it's kind of a trick. You don't, when you start to realize everything your father or your mother said to you that was annoying at that time, and it starts to make sense, or you all of a sudden you have a friend who has a daughter, you have a friend who has a wife. I had never had that before. I've never been around men like that other than family members. So when you start to expand your circle and you start to realize that you don't know anything, the more you realize, as soon as you realize you don't know anything, that is when you become a man. Because you can see the change on everybody's face when you're like, you stop. It's funny, in acting, they tell you, if you want to act like an immature 18-year-old, act like you know everything. That's it. So as soon as that stops, you're a man.
You guys agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the 30s too is when you guys figured it out.
30 something overcame my whole body, that it just there was a complete shift where what other people, the first phase of it was what other people thought of me wasn't as important as what I thought of myself, first and foremost. And I mean, literally right at that moment.
Then you realize you haven't done anything yet. Then you're like, oh, wow, I have to actually go do some stuff instead of paying attention to what everybody else was. It's almost a sadness, a sadness that washes over you, and then you're excited and happy that you came to that revelation. Like, oh, my God, I'm so empty, and I'm so glad that I came to that point of knowing that sadness. Now I can move on and act like a man.
So do you guys think that that's the reason why so many relationships, when you get into a relationship young, you end up divorcing or breaking up or something like that because you don't know who you are?
Steve Harvey put that in his book, The Best Way. Women are dating incomplete men. We don't know what we're going to do for the rest of our lives to make money to support that. And that's the structure that we're brought up in, is that the man supports the family. I mean, old school, new school, whatever, it's the majority of the responsibility falls on the man. And if you don't know how you're going to do that, how dare you date somebody else? You're not even fully dressed trying to go to church.
You guys agree?
I do. I mean, there's something about, I mean, I would say like 32, 33 years old for me is when I finally started to get things, because it's like what Travis said. The second that you acknowledge, embrace the fact that you don't know anything is when you're open to learn. And so you have a lot of guys walking around here in their 20s thinking that they are God's gift to women. And unfortunately, these women continue to support that and make these men feel like they are God's gift to women instead of embracing themselves and not settling for some guy that is not treating you right. Men return phone calls, men return text messages, men come and pick you up. I mean, it's just, when I hear things that so many women put up with in their 20s, I don't necessarily blame the men. I find the fault with them. My question to them is, why are you putting up with that kind of behavior? If you just wait a little while, those guys will get it, So treat yourself better.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to have to let you guys go. This has been so enlightening. I feel like just sitting down like Oprah and doing an hour-long special on. Y'all tell the women.
Make it happen. Make that hour-long special happen. We'll be there.
All right, VH1. Thank you guys so much. Continued success on the show. You're great eye candy, but there's so much substance behind it. So we really appreciate what you guys are doing. I'm Sharice Nicole. Thanks for watching SeeNikki.com. Remember to tune in Monday nights at 9 p.m. for VH1's Single Ladies. And remember, to know what's good in Hollywood, you gotta see Nikki.